Welcome back to another session. Waiting for my audio to catch up here. There we go. Welcome back to another family session, family training, presented by will2play.com, leaders of your focused training. I guess you wanted more after the first session. Welcome back. This is session 2 of the fall 2009 families class, Revit Families, the keys to Revit. And this is the second class of the basic level section of the families classes this semester. Session 2, we'll be dealing with annotative families. We're going to build our own symbol family at the end here. And hopefully more people come in towards the end because it's kind of a light crowd today. Thank you, Daniel, for pointing that out. I'll have to look at that. That's actually not something that I put up, but I'll take a look at that and see if I can change that. Thanks for letting me know. So yeah, trying something a little different today. As you can see up here, I'm doing a little recording of the session, see if it's going to be worth it to actually purchase Camtasia for the Mac. I've had mixed results using it in the past, but we'll see. Administrative part, if you have any questions about the sessions, about will2play.com in general, want to know how much it'll cost you to have us come out and train your firm or just you individually, you can contact us at contact@will2play.com. I am your host, Carl Gibson, your instructor, mentor, families professor, family counselor, I don't know, for this semester. And you can reach me with any Revit questions at rkitecsure@gmail.com. More people trickling in here. So here we are, the agenda for today. A little less hectic than Mondays because we got all the upfront stuff out of the way. So here's our agenda. Intro, 5 minutes. We're going to do our typical 15-minute 3 times 3 topics. Close for 5 minutes, and then we'll do our 30 to 60-minute lab to wrap up. Just real quick, I always have to go here and show the website, Will2Play. We're at the families class here. You obviously know how to register because you're here. But if you want to show other people how to register for this awesome class that you're taking because you think they need to learn families as well, here it is right here, Revit Families. Click to register for class. And once again, you can gain access to all of the fun stuff. I'm going to pause the screen real quick so that I can show you what you're missing out on. If you're not logged in, we go to Revit Families, and we now see that if we go to the green board, not only do we have access to the PowerPoint and lab for today, once we're able to log in, we also have access to the spring and summer archives, all the classes that we've done in the last 2 recorded sessions. Fun stuff. I'm just curious because it's such a light turnout today. Raise your hand if you did get a registration reminder or an invitation reminder for today's webinar. Okay, so the email is working. Maybe it's just a busy day. Everyone seemed to have gotten an email. That's good. Maybe it's just a busy day. Who knows? You never know. Hopefully the turnout will increase throughout the semester. Today's class is actually pretty important though, because we're going to go through just a brief listing of all the different templates and what a template contains, what we can and can't do with different templates. And we're also going to go into the 2 different types of families that we can create. What do you mean 2 different types? You said last session that there are 3 types. Anybody remember what those 3 different family types are? You can just type it out in the questions. Or, great segue into this, raise your hand if you have a mic or a phone and you are able to mute yourself. I will unmute you on this end and you can talk as much as you want during the session as long as it's relevant to the topic. So at any point, if you are interested in talking back to me, please please raise your hand or type in questions, unmute me, and I will do that. Jeff, thank you. Standard families, system families, and in-place families. And we haven't quite gotten around to what the difference in those are, but keep in mind those are the three different, in the Revit hierarchy, the three different types of families that we can create. Standard families are similar to like what we created. Yes, what Daniel said. Standard families are the loaded families for 2010. That's correct. The families that you can load, like the table we made last week on Monday. That would be considered a standard family. System family is things like walls and floors that are project specific. No, let's just say that they're managed by Revit. Okay, there are certain properties of these families that can only be managed by the Revit engine, and we cannot customize these certain parameters for these. So they are considered system families. And then you have in-place families, which are project specific and are created inside of a project instead of inside of a family template through the family editor. So thank you, Daniel and Jeff, for your comments on that. So here's what we're doing today. Last week we talked about families, and guess what? In the families class today we're going to talk about more about families. Basically what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the different types of families we have available through the templates. We're going to talk about face-based families, wall-based families. Let's see, I'm trying to think of some others. Door templates, window templates. What's the difference between a door template and a window template? You've got different, maybe a furniture template. What do all these templates, why do we have to use a template for all these different family types? We know about categories in Revit, and we'll take a quick look at that so that we can clarify that as well. And then we're also going to talk about, when we look at these templates, they're either going to be a model family or an annotation family. And real quick while I go over this, anyone want to take a stab at what the difference between a model family and an annotation family is? And the questions there, you can just type it out or raise your hand and talk. We've got a couple of people saying 2D versus 3D. That's a good guess. It's oddly enough, they can be separated that way, but you can actually have model families that are 2D. And then we have someone saying annotation family will scale. It's kind of a vague way of saying it, but yes, that's correct, Jeff. Has to do with the annotative scale of the drawing that it's in, and we'll take a look at that as well when we get into it. Thank you, Daniel and Jeff, again, for participating. Don't be shy, please. Everyone, speak up. I'm not going to strike you down for talking or interacting during this class. Without talking and interacting, there is no class. It just becomes boring because my voice will put you to sleep. Actually, I don't know. Okay, so here's our intro. Hey, here's the answer to the question I just asked. Model families are real-world objects. They scale with the view. Okay, so if you've got a 3-foot desk in there, if you change the scale of the view, is that desk still going to be 3 feet long? Yes. All right, annotative families are for sheets. They're also for views. I'm not sure how that ended up in there. But when you use an annotation family, you're going to think about the size the family will appear when printed. Okay, so if you place a 3/32 inch text, annotative text, on a view, that text will always be 3/32 of an inch when printed. So the size of it in relation to a model element like the 3-foot desk always depends on the scale of the view. And we'll take a look at that a little bit later on. So basically you just have to think dimensions when you think about the difference between model and annotative families. So by the end of today's session, this is my promise to you, we're going to know templates, we're going to know where to start when we're starting a family, and what those templates basically set up for you. When you start with a template, what is that template going to do for you when you're creating your family? All right, that's what we're going to look at.